So we are back with Randy Kirk because the stock went up today, a green color. I don't know what that means. I don't know what caused it. I'm very anxious. These Christmassy colors, it is too far into the summer to think about Christmas, but it feels like I got a little gift. So joining me today is the amazing best-selling author, Randy Kirk, who is going to share with us his wisdom.
You don't call me when the stock's going down.
That's actually true.
I don't.
I'm Brian. Welcome to my Tesla weekend. Randy, what's going on? What happened?
Well, I don't know. It was like,
Okay, well, I'm glad you could come out. Thank you for your
that was
time.
it. See you next time. I mean, I'm a pundit. I'm an analyst. People are expecting me to have the answer. And so I looked at that today and I went, Tesla went up 7.33%, continued up in the after hours. It was like I was like living in an alternate universe or something, the singularity. I don't know what's going. Anyway, so I looked at that and I compared it to Apple and all the other Magnificent Seven, and they went up like 1% or 2%. I looked at the Nasdaq, went up 1.5. I mean, why did Tesla go up 7.33? And I decided, you know what? It's not one reason, and so you always have to have 10. So I came up. I think these are 10 good reasons. I think they're fine. I really enjoyed creating them. And would you like to do them in reverse order or in importance, most important first or least important first?
Let's go most important first.
Most important first. All right. Well, in that case, let's take number one. Number one. Somebody knows something that you and I don't.
I love it. I was ready to argue with all of these, but I love it. That might actually be it. Somebody knows the delivery date or something. Yeah.
It's possible. I mean, it doesn't, we're talking about 140,000 employees. I mean, you're talking about all kinds of insiders. Somebody might have found out something, but the surprising thing is that if that's true, why hasn't the leak gotten further by now? You would expect maybe the reporting would be out by this time after an entire day of the stock going crazy. But I am not a conspiracy guy. I very rarely think about conspiracy, but I will tell you a little secret. I think that the statute of limitations is run on this. Maybe I'll talk about a friend of mine that did this.
Okay.
Years ago, this friend of mine had some inside information, 3 hands removed, about a stock that was going to be bought out. And I was able to, that friend of mine was able to buy the stock and do very, very well on that. So it doesn't have to be, the insider themselves that's making the buy. They tell their mother. Their mother tells their best friend tells their broker, and how do you ever track that? So anyway, that's number one. I think it's possible that there's an inside leak.
Okay, number two?
Number two, well, the Baird information, the Baird comments this morning, maybe you're aware of them, maybe you're not, but Baird came out this morning and said that Tesla is ready for a bounce. It's time. It was really, really, sold off way too far. The risk-reward ratio was way too low. Risk-reward high, low. Anyway, there was a lot of reward potential and very little risk. Anyway, Baird said, look, they got all these catalysts coming, reiterated their $300 price target, said it was about to rebound, and put it in their list of best ideas. So
I don't know how much those actually move stocks, but especially a stock of this size, but that's certainly a good thing. If we're doing a list of 10, I can see how it makes the list. I like it.
Yes, I would have expected it to maybe move it 2 or 3 or 4. That's why I'm saying I was like, okay, that's good. That's going to move it a couple of 3 points.
Well, it could have moved it half of one among the list of 10.
Exactly.
And that still counts. Number 3, what do you got?
Number 3, I think it was completely oversold on the China price cuts and the China problems. So those cuts, are not going to significantly impact margins. There was on versions that are not going to be that many units. Even the Model Y cuts were on the higher priced units, and those units are heavily exported. So it was like 18% of all the Model Ys to begin with, and then it would be less than that because, let's say, half of those are going to be exported. So it was a very small amount of their total sales. And I think also that on those price cuts like that, where people are very raw about those price cuts, if they don't continue, then that goes away after a couple of days. The narrative gets punctured for a day or two, but you need another price cut in order to keep that negative narrative going.
And what could have happened on that front is that the trader made trades based on his gut, and then asked the analyst, by the way, crunch the numbers and tell me how bad this really is. And the analyst came back and said, the numbers actually look fine. And he went, well, it's a buying opportunity.
Yeah, so there was also some news out this morning on China. At least one analyst was saying that the deflation that was a big piece of the pie last week, that's a 1 month deflationary figure. You can't make decisions based on 1 month. It could easily be back to half of that, or even be back in positive in inflation again next month. So that also might have quieted the China. I mean, there's a lot of negative in China, but that might have at least reduced all the negative a little bit.
Okay, next one.
Number 4. Well, there's this group called Guru Focus, and they go by GF, they call themselves. Anyway, they value posted today on Yahoo, and they said the fair value for Tesla, are you ready? Take a guess. Fair value, right now.
550.
Oh, see? You had to say a higher number. Anyway, they're at 453. Fair value right now. Now, you and I might think that's true, but compared to the current, selling price, it's double or more than even after the run-up today.
Right.
So anyway, I don't know how much stock people put in Guru Focus. I really don't know that much about them, except I've seen them pretty fairly recently on Yahoo. And anything that shows up in that kind of a strong financial sector, somebody's going to pay attention to it. They're going to look at it. And by the way, the analysis was really quite good.
And I think people take Gru seriously since he decided not to steal the moon. I might be thinking of a different Gru. Number 5, what do we got?
We have itchy fingers. Now, itchy fingers is something that is part of my analysis, and I call it itchy fingers. There is $5.6 trillion sitting in money market funds.
Oh, no.
5.6 trillion. That is an all-time high. It was 5.3 or 4 last month. I mean, it just keeps going up. Everybody's trying to get that 5.5 interest rate, and it's just crazy. Nobody's buying bonds, nobody's buying treasuries, everybody's putting their money into these money market funds, and that's sucking money out of the bond market and out of the equities market. So that money that's sitting there in that situation, if those people are truly investors, they want to be doing better than that. They're okay with 5.5, but they're not really excited about it. And so they're looking, where's that thing I can go, grab a hold of that's really undervalued? And I think that could have been part of it, is everybody looked around and they went, oh, Tesla right now, really undervalued.
Wow. That puts us at number 6, right?
Yes. I think that the NASDAQ is really charged up about NVIDIA for Wednesday afternoon. I mean, I think half of the headlines that I've read over the last 4 days in the financial section have been about NVIDIA's, posting their numbers. Somebody said that the CEO of NVIDIA now is the father of AI. And I'm like, he's not a father of AI. I mean, it's really gone crazy. It's really over the top on this NVIDIA thing for Wednesday. I think it's probably going to be a huge beat. I think people are going to be satisfied with what NVIDIA reports. I think that the market is going to be running up to that number. And so the rest of the techs are going to benefit from that. And they did benefit from it today, but they benefited it at 1 or 2 or 3%, not 7.3%. Anyway, but I think it was just
Sure.
one more piece. Yeah.
And before we get to number 7, I want to hear in the comments from you guys, why do you think the stock price went up? It's okay to say no reason at all. It's okay to say macro. It's okay to say because you're having a good day. I don't know. So all the reasons are acceptable. Real answers are also allowed, like number 7.
Number 7, the picture, the view of lots and lots of truck carriers carrying Cybertrucks, not all to one location, not just a few, but lots of truck carriers, taking them to Michigan, taking them to Fremont, taking them to who knows where. So many cyber. I think somebody said there was 11 overnight. I think 11 vehicles overnight. Or
I did see that on X as well, and it's undeniable that the line is moving.
Yep.
How fast? 7 to 12 a day, apparently.
Looks like it, huh? So
It does look like it.
that would cause people to go, okay, well, first of all, we know it's got to be any minute. I did a video a week or so ago where I said the next 90 days are just going to be mind-numbing with all the stuff that could potentially come out in the next 90 days. And so one of them, of course, is the Cybertruck announcement, and then following the announcement is the handover. Following that is the first sale to a consumer, and then following that would be reviews. That's 4 possible catalysts over the next 90 days just for Cybertruck. So, and all of that could just be kind of a constant moving up of the market as the Cybertruck becomes a reality out there. I would love to have your people in comments also, and maybe you have an idea on this. I am hoping like crazy that Tesla decides to make it super easy to do these wraps. I think the wraps are going to help make this product. I think it's great by itself, but you add these wraps and all these different colors and designs and stuff, I think it's going to just be a super plus.
Wow. Like if they were to email out all the dimensions in the right format so they know where to cut them.
Yeah, for instance, or maybe they have a deal with one of these wrap guys and they can do it down the street or something, and even before they pick it up, they've got the wrap on it. Anyway, lots of possibilities there.
Next.
All right, number 8 is video team shooting the Cybertruck in the wild, suggesting that some kind of an advertisement is being created.
I didn't see it as an ad. I saw it as just another on-channel promo that they would do. They've got hours of footage. Hey, maybe make more than 30 seconds of it available to clowns like us to use for B-roll. Thinking out loud here. It certainly tells us that it's just about time. I don't know if that by itself could move the stock, but then again, we are down at number 8. And if you think that's not exciting, let's talk about number 9.
I thought it was actually pretty exciting because
it is exciting,
maybe
and it's good news.
It is an ad. What if it is an ad? Oh my gosh.
I don't know if investors would look at that and say that the likelihood is strong enough that they're going to advertise and it's going to have the results, but maybe.
I mean, you would think that the last thing you would ever advertise would be the car that you have 1.8 million
pre-orders for. Yeah.
But you might want to create some additional buzz for the entire product line. And that's, in general, what I think might be going on. Okay, number 9. 180 Highlands sitting under wraps in Shanghai.
Yes. It's getting to the point where if you're still pretending they don't exist, you gotta screw loose. But there's not very many people out there doubting it.
Yeah.
Just a handful.
I don't know. I think if you put a cover on a car and then it turns out to look just like the last one, you would lose some credibility.
Right. Also, it would add a bunch of extra work for no benefit.
Yeah. So if it's just going to be the same thing with a few modest cosmetic changes interior, I think we've got a big change. Obviously, I'm extremely excited about that. I even have a question, a really quick question for you.
I'm ready.
Where are they going to make them if they sell twice as many as they're selling now?
Oh, they don't. I don't think they plan to sell twice as many. These
What
will
if they
be,
do?
well, then the price will remain high. These will come off the line faster because they're easier to build, which means production can increase 20-ish%. I don't believe that Model 3 has been produced at capacity for a while now. I think they've already been running under capacity, and the capacity is about to increase due to simplification. And they don't need another factory to build threes. The market for mid-size sedans is not sufficient to justify an entire additional factory. And they could, yeah. And if Model Y demand were to soften, they could, as the lines are ramping in Texas from 1 up to 3, they could dedicate one of the Model Y lines in Fremont to additional Model S. Or Model 3.
Yeah, yeah.
Model 3. They could move a Model Y line to make more Model 3s in Fremont. So that would allow them to increase by another 20%. So that would get them to probably 135, 150% of current production.
All right, number 10, Kevin O'Leary. You know who Kevin O'Leary is.
Yeah, the financial guru.
One of the sharks, okay? And he's followed by millions and millions of people. Well, he told a story today. The story was, I think, a video on, maybe on YouTube, but I think it was also reported maybe on CNBC. I can't remember where now. But Kevin O'Leary comes out and talks about a conversation he had with his son 4 years ago. His son works for Tesla, or was working for him at the time, at least. And Kevin's like, I'm not going to invest in Tesla. And the son says, Dad, you're an idiot. No, it was almost that bad, but he did, deride him badly, or at least according to Kevin O'Leary's telling. And so he decided, okay, I'll throw a few bucks at it. He threw a few bucks at it and then just forgot about it. And apparently a while ago, he looked up and it was worth 1,000 times what he'd paid for it.
Good grief.
So that story was also out this morning. And
Wow.
I'm guessing it got a lot of eyeballs. So again, it might have only been worth a half a point or a point, I don't know. But one more thing. So when you have all that kind of good stuff all happening on the same day, when the stock is so badly beaten down, and on a day when the market is kind of saying, it's time for a little relief rally here anyway, maybe all of that is why it went up, and that's the best I can do.
Yeah, that's a perfect storm. You see, the people who watch Kevin O'Leary regularly are the kinds of people who might make impulse stock purchases. And if they look at that and then say, okay, well, let's check what the news is saying, and you find these reports saying it's way undervalued, it's way oversold, now is a good time, we're increasing our price targets, you could get a handful of reasonably good sized investments flowing in all at once in a bit of a perfect storm, a bit of a sharknado, a bit of a hurricane, if you will. Too soon? So, guys, you got to tell us, what did we miss? What did we misunderstand? I do want to thank Randy Kirk for showing up sober this time. God, what the... And, yeah, for the rest of you guys, subscribe, like, do all that stuff. Hey, throw us a couple bucks on Patreon. Who knows? That's how the channel is able to keep going. For the rest of you guys, stay tuned, stay juicy, and I can't wait to hear from you clever robots on the next one.